We begin with Chris Six Investigates.
There may be survivors of abuse who are out there who are thinking, am I the only one? Did he do it to someone else? Are they going to believe me?
On Chris 6 at 6, investigative reporter Brian Hoffman shed new light on the darkness surrounding the Diocese of Corpus Christi's inaction against child predators within their own ranks and uncovered an apparent reluctance to share files within their secret archives. Brian, does the diocese still maintain these secret archives?
Michelle, the diocese did admit that they do indeed maintain these files, but just called it by another name. Some of these documents contain information about sexual abuse by priests in the past and may bring to light information that is closely guarded. I was only able to obtain some of these secret archive documents because of a mistake in the sealing of court records. But for many survivors seeking these documents, they've only hit roadblocks. However, right now, there are steps being taken to allow survivors to seek justice years after the alleged abuse was committed. Wounds created by sexual abuse from those in the church linger for survivors long after their assailant passes away. Wounds from the people that you're supposed to trust most. A letter penned to the Diocese of Corpus Christi Victims Assistance Office.
Everybody dies, retires, and moves. But the victim has to live with the shame, the guilt, the nasty feelings, because someone failed to take action.
Churches across the country, including right here in Corpus Christi, have survivors of sexual abuse by priests reaching out, trying to get any information on their assailant, and really asking anything that may validate the traumatic memories that they have. I spoke with one such survivor looking for information about his alleged sexual abuser. Patrick Wilkes has asked the diocese for the secret files on his father, who happened to be a priest in Corpus Christi named James Wilkes, but they have not been provided. He says his father sexually abused him, his siblings, and others.
The priest of the Diocese of Corpus Christi ordained in 1950. During that time, he became part of a group of priests that went across the river into Mexico and had their way with, prostitutes and children because they could.
Patrick Wilkes says that he has received little to no response from the Diocese of Corpus Christi, and Father Wilkes' name was not on the diocese's 2019 list of known sexual abuse offenders. Robert Pastor, an attorney in Arizona who represents survivors of sexual abuse by priests, says this practice is far too common.
If this is a church that wants to accept responsibility for the children that were sexually abused, if this is a church that truly wants to be truthful and transparent, and wants to foster healing for these men and women whose lives sometimes were destroyed, why are we keeping this secret?
The diocese, which declined our request for an interview, says that they have taken great strides to ensure the safety of children, establishing the Charter for Protection of Children and Young People handed down by the Vatican in 2002. It established a victims assistance office where some can report abuse with a 24/7 hotline and opened up the Office of Safe Environment, also in 2002. But survivors like Wilkes say that does not fix the issue.
So the pain never goes away, but it's possible to learn to cope with it and to live and even occasionally thrive.
There are efforts being made to bring more light to the darkness that has shrouded sexual abuse against children. In Texas, the statute of limitations for civil court was 15 years. In 2019, though, that was changed to 30 years. A proposed bill for this legislative session, which begins January 10th, aims to remove the time limit that would allow survivors to seek civil action in these cases. It's a move experts like Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests say may empower more victims to come forward.
The average age is 60 to 65 of survivors of child abuse.
Supporters say this legislation is important because it allows victims time to recover memories of the abuse or gives them time to decide whether they want to pursue civil cases. This bill would also remove the statute of limitations against those who shielded or protected the alleged perpetrators. in these cases, the church. This may give victims and their attorneys access to secret archives, which is one reason the bill is not guaranteed to pass.
The Catholic Church has spent a lot of money lobbying against these type of bills. There was a study that came out through the Houston Chronicle several years past, how much money they spend, and now we have the Southern Baptist Convention that will really be up there fighting this as well.
The Survivors Network tells me that sometimes all victims want is to see the evidence, to know that they weren't alone, to know that someone else witnessed these acts, even if they didn't act on them. Sometimes that's enough.
And some of those men and women ultimately make the decision, I don't want to come forward. I'm satisfied knowing that he's been exposed, he's been outed, that this is here.
And that was Brian Hoffman reporting. If you or someone you know has suffered sexual abuse, there is help out there. The first thing experts say to do is inform law enforcement. The Survivors Network of those abused by priests has several different resources, including an office in San Antonio, and the diocese has an email address which they say has 24/7 support. We'll have those links and contact information on our website. That's christv.com.